Every time you take a photo, you hear the sound. What you don't know is that that is the sound of the shutter in your camera moving. Now on the exposure triangle, we have the ISO, aperture, and shutter speed. And all these three come together to help us properly expose an image for it to look good. The shutter speed is one of them. And what the shutter does is that it works just like our eyelids. So on that note, take my glasses off. It works just like our eyelids. It blinks like that to expose our eye for things to see. So your shutter is closed and this is how it is, seeing nothing but darkness. But the moment you press the shutter button, it quickly opens up, takes in information, sees everything, and then closes back again. Do you get the concept? The moment you press the shutter, your eye opens, takes up information, and then closes it again. That is the function of the shutter. I'm going to show you that. If you look at this camera, all right, this is a DSLR Nikon 3400. Take a look at the shutter in this. Every time I press that, this is a DSLR, so the mirror flips up, the shutter exposes the lens, and then the lens takes in the picture. All right, so that is just a quick thing. But what does the shutter really do for an image, and how important is it? Now, just imagine that truly our eyes are the way they are, and our eyes are automatically closed. And the moment we press the shutter button, it opens up for us to see. All right, don't you think that if I keep the shutter open for long, all right, I will see a lot for longer. It also means that I'll see more light. What the shutter does is that the moment you press the shutter button to take the image, the shutter opens, exposing the lens to light. All right, so the longer the shutter stays open, the more light that hits the lens, and the shorter the shutter stays open, the less light that hits the lens. Now keep all this information at the back of your mind, because that means two things. First, longer shutter means more light. Short shutter means less light. So at least you know how that affects the brightness of the image. So the figure that you see for a shutter speed on any camera is you usually have 1 slash something or 1. It's all in a matter of seconds. So if you have a shutter open for say 1 second, okay, you see a number, a whole number like 1 with a sign beside it. What that means that if I press, the shutter is going to stay open for 1 second before it closes. That means that more light hits the sensor. But you can also go to a very fast shutter speed. To go to a very fast, it means 1 over something, that fraction. So 1 over 2500 is like very extremely fast, like so fast. And if you have 1 over say 200 or 1 over 40, that's also fairly slow but fairly faster than 1 second. All right, that also means more light coming in. When you put your shutter speed at a very fast shutter speed, that is 1 over 200 going, I'll consider that to be fast. Anything less than that is you are being a little slow. All right, so 1 over 200 going. What that does is that you can usually freeze a scene. So if somebody is running and you have a very fast shutter speed, you can freeze the person in action. So for sports photography, you have to use very fast shutter speed because players are constantly moving. If you are shooting an event and the speaker is moving, you have to use a very fast shutter speed because you want to freeze the image. If not, you're going to end up with an image that has some blurry looks in it, or you're going to have an image that has something blurry, and you don't really want that. Your shutter speed is going to depend on what you are shooting. If it's just a model who is just standing at one place, not moving, you could use a very low shutter speed, say 1 over 160, 1 over sometimes even 100, that could do. I would not advise you go lower because you want to keep your image very sharp. Those who do landscape, for instance, they mount their cameras on a tripod, leave it there. Some of them don't even want to press. They want to use a remote, all right? And they can use the shutter speed for, say, 5 seconds open to take in more information and more light, all right? That is the day. But if you are doing anything that has movement in it, you want to use a very fast shutter speed to freeze. But you also have to know the consequences, because if you're using a fast shutter speed, all right, it means the shutter stays very open for a very short time, meaning less light is coming in. All right, so that means you have to compensate that on the other areas, either with the ISO or the aperture. Understanding this will let you know how you set your shutter speed. Now, there's the rule of thumb. What the golden rule says is that your shutter speed should be twice your focal length. let me use layman English. Your shutter speed should be twice the focal length of the lens that at the moment you are shooting. So this lens is a 18 to 55 millimeter. All right. If I am shooting at 35 millimeters, the advice is that I keep my shutter speed a minimum of say 70 or above. So 1/70. All right. That's a golden rule. If I'm shooting at 55, the advice that I keep my shutter speed at 1/100 and above. That is the golden rule. So if I have a lens like this, like the Tamron, and I'm shooting at 75 millimeters, the advice that I keep my shutter speed at 150 or above. That happens to be the golden rule. But you can always tweak it depending on the look that you are going for. If you're doing sport photography, definitely use something that is faster. If you are doing just long exposure, you want something very blurry, you also use a very slow shutter speed. But keep in mind what it does to the image. Fast means less light, and then it also means that you get a very sharp image. A very slow shutter speed means more light hits the sensor, but then it means you have a very dreamy, blurry image. If you're using your camera and you're not so sure about the mode to shoot in because you're not very good at manual yet, don't shoot in auto. Look at this video right here and look at the mode that I advise that you shoot in, which is better than auto, almost even better than manual. Check that video out and I'll catch you in the very next one. Peace.